Nationwide Series night racing at this track for the first time.
Green flag is out, and we're racing at Atlanta Motor Speedway.
You know how it feels to have a special car? That's what's going on with Kevin Harvick tonight.
Kyle Busch had a great pit stop there.
The 33 has just taken off.
Looks like Kyle Busch's team was able to get the lead off pit road.
But Harvick's getting it done on the racetrack.
The 18 car is coming this lap.
Kevin's got to get down pit road right now if he's going to maintain his lead.
Dale Earnhardt Jr. is now the leader of the race.
Okay, Junior fans, sit up in your seat. This guy might make it.
If he keeps running that slow, Kevin Harvick's going to catch him.
Here is the battle for the lead, but it's not going to be much of a fight.
Kevin Harvick will drive to victory tonight.
Good job. Way to go, guys. Great job.
It's been a while since we've seen a car that dominant.
Well, that was the scene just 1 week ago in Atlanta. This is the scene right now here at Richmond International Raceway as we're getting ready for qualifying for the NASCAR Nationwide Series. And boy, have things changed as far as the temperature. More on that in a moment. Take a look at the point standings after 26 of 35 races. And you can see that Kyle Busch still controls his own destiny. It's going to take an act of divine intervention probably to lose this championship, but it has happened once in the last 9 times when a lead's been this big. So Brad Keselowski only 71 markers behind Carl Edwards for second place. So Carl better start looking over his shoulder because Keselowski has been coming on strong. Let's get the latest from pit lane. Let's bring in Jamie Little.
Well, Marty, when you come to Richmond for a nationwide race, all eyes are going to be on the 60 of Carl Edwards and the 18 of Kyle Busch. Between the two of them, they have 5 wins here, and imagine this, both of them had the same average finish, 7.6. Now, it was Kyle Busch that went to victory lane. He actually went on to win the Cup race in May, and then the year before, 1 year ago, it was Carl Edwards that took the win. Of course, their minds are on the Cup side and making that chase tomorrow, but right now, the focus is on qualifying, getting the pole, and getting a win. I can't imagine kicking off a more pressure-packed weekend than with a pole and a win. Vince Welch.
Also a little bit of pressure on the driver of the 20 car here in the Nationwide Series. That's Denny Hamlin. Self-imposed pressure because this is his home track. His friends and family are here to watch him race this weekend in the Nationwide and the Cup car. Now in the Nationwide machine, he was second quickest in practice. So why was the 20 team thrashing after that practice to get ready for qualifying and the race tonight? Well, crew chief Dave Rogers says the car was fast off the truck, but it wasn't particularly comfortable for Denny. So they changed about 40% of the setup. They feel like they've got a real good race car. Not quite sure what they're going to have in practice, he says, or in qualifying, but we're about to find out. Marty?
Well, let's come topside as we bring in Rusty Wallace. Let's talk a little bit about what we've seen so far, though, because really from the weather standpoint, it's been like a roller coaster ride.
Oh, you got that exactly right. That's going to be the big story right now. These cars were on the track this morning about 9 o'clock this morning. Right now, it's about 4 o'clock here in Richmond, Virginia. It's about 40 degrees hotter, the track temperature right now. So when these guys go out to qualify, they really don't know what they really have. The car's going to be slipping and sliding quite a bit. But guess what? After this is done and they get ready to race tonight, it's going to cool down, and they're going to have to deal with another changing track condition because of the temperature.
So as we get ready to go trackside, waiting for the first car to come on out onto the qualifying, we'll take a quick break, and there you can see Jason Leffler. Lucky draw, he's number 1, unfortunately for him, but he was fastest in practice.
NASCAR Nationwide Series qualifying is brought to you by Papa John's. 25 years of better ingredients, better pizza. Papa John's. And Nationwide Insurance, official auto insurance partner of NASCAR.
Let's quickly give you the schedule for the remainder of the day. It's been all NASCAR all the time. We'll have the race for you tonight right here at 7 Eastern on ESPN2. Sprint Cup qualifying is coming up next. You'll see that as soon as we get done with our qualifying. And then the Chevy Rock and Roll 400 at Richmond tomorrow night, 7 Eastern over on ABC. And then NASCAR Now tomorrow at 11:30 a.m. Eastern, or 11:30 p.m. Eastern following the race. Got my AMs and my PMs mixed up, but won't get this mixed up. That's Jason Leffler as he's getting ready to be the first car out on the track.
Jason's had a couple wins on the short tracks. He likes Richmond. He was fastest in practice, but the bad thing for him right now, he's going out number 1. And like we talked earlier, this track's about 40 degrees hotter right now, so I expect to see the times just off a little bit from what he ran this morning.
Well, first lap, 22.24 seconds. 121 and change. He's had 8 career poles, but his last one was way back in August of '07 at Bristol. And of course, still looking for that all-elusive first win this season.
Second lap, 21.95. That's about 0.3 of a second slower than what he ran this morning. This morning was a 21.61, so the track definitely hotter, definitely slower, and that's probably going to disappoint him. And as a driver, you'd come in after a lap like this, Marty, when you went out first and had a bad draw. You go, well, look, guys, we got a good car, but that draw killed us.
Well, one guy who's been killing the points, he scored more in the last 6 races than anybody else, is with Jamie Little.
And he was 4th fastest in practice this morning and said it was one of the best cars you've had here, Brad, but it has warmed up a lot. What are you expecting?
Well, the cloud cover is really going to make a big difference for the Lipton Chevrolet and how fast it goes. So the clouds are kind of in and out. If we can catch a cloud, I feel like we got a shot at the pole. So I'm pretty excited about it.
All right, shot at the pole perhaps, the cloud cover, guys, and the temperature really does drop when the clouds come out. So we'll see what this 88 can do.
And as we go back out on track side, we've got Matt Carter, son of Travis Carter. You know, Travis had 3 poles as a crew chief here with Benny Parsons, Bobby Allison, Harry Gant. How's that for name dropping?
Oh, that's a big name dropping right there. You know, Matt Carter, he was the USAR Rookie of the Year. This guy's been around for a while. He's a good short track ace. When I think of Matt, I think about short tracks. I think about this particular track because he's been really good at a place like this. Another short track, Bristol. Had a 12th place finish this year. Looked pretty good out there.
Second lap's looking better than the first, as you can see. Compared to Jason Leffler, though, it is not going to measure up as he comes across second lap, 22.30 seconds. So right now, slotting him on the outside of row number 1, but don't think that's going to stay there by a long shot based on what we saw earlier in practice today, even with the age. And you want to talk about why qualifying is so important? Well, 21 of 32 races here have been won from a top 5 starting position. The last 10 and 26 of 32 have been won from a top 10 starting spot.
As we're watching Michael McDowell here in a 26 car, I will tell you, qualifying at this racetrack is so important. It is a short track. If you qualify bad, you will get lapped. If you don't have a good car, you'll get lapped fast. So all these guys out here want to qualify good. They want to get up front. They want to get that cushion.
Michael McDowell, 10th in the points. He has given this number 26 car some very stellar rides the last few races. I mean, especially on the road courses, they basically had a oval car, which wasn't with all the proper pieces, and he was giving them good rides on the road courses as well.
Oh, there's no doubt Michael's a great driver. He just kind of fell down on his luck with the sponsorship going away. He's in his 26 now, and ever since he's got in this particular car, this thing has really woken up. He's gave it a good ride, and take a look at our lap tracker right there. He's second quick right now with a 22.11. He's really picked that thing up the second lap, and I expect big things out of him tonight. If he keeps that thing clean, that's what he's going to have to do right here at Richmond Raceway.
Well, there's Jason Leffler. He's already done for the day, but Eric Darnell's up. Here at Richmond International Raceway, qualifying for the NASCAR Nationwide Series, and Eric Darnell is now on the track. He was the 5th fastest of the Ford contingent, 22nd overall in that final practice, and he has already laid down his first lap at 22.28 seconds, and lap 2 started on the negative side. Now it's a little better.
I tell you what, he got high off of turn 4. He almost got up in that kitty litter, I call it. It's an old tire rubber that's up there. You don't want to get your right rear tire up there. Look how high he is up there. He was 22nd fastest in practice, but you know what? This guy flat knows how to qualify. He was on the pole in Milwaukee, Wisconsin. Good qualifier.
Well, he's 22.13 seconds, slots him number 3 behind McDowell and Leffler. Let's check in with Vince Welch.
Jason Leffler was fastest in practice this morning. The weather's changed a lot since then. How has that affected the car in which you had in qualifying?
Well, I mean, the track was a little slicker there than we did our mock run. We ran those times early on in the morning when the track was really green and fast, and that was in race trim. Seems like the longer you run, maybe your 4th or 5th lap's your best lap, but that was a good run for the Great Clips Camry. I don't know where it'll end up, but we got a solid car, a really good car in race trim, so hopefully that'll put us in the top 10 and we can race to the front from there.
Keeping an eye on the 38 tonight, that's for sure, Marty.
Right now, we're keeping an eye on the 88. Brad Keselowski, you see lap tracker. I'll tell you what, Leffler's time's holding up so far.
Yeah, I'll tell you, the track is really slick, like we said, and I mean, it slowed up like 0.3 of a second from this morning, Marty, but I mean, I think the problem is everybody's loose out there. They're all sliding around. I do expect this to get better as this evening goes on, but take a look at that lap right there. Much better the second lap, especially into turn 1. He's holding it down the back straightaway.
Going into turn 3, still in the green. Whoa, dipping a little. Now coming back. Can he hang on through 4? Brad Keselowski.
Nailed the second lap. Felt really good.
He knew it as he comes across at 21.83 seconds. So he improves on the second lap, takes over the #1 spot. Let's talk about what's happened in the last 5 races. And you can see how much he has cut the margin. We told you he has scored more points in the last 6. Here's what he's done in the last 5, and now currently 3rd in the points.
Yeah, you take a look at that. I mean, ever since Watkins Glen, he's picked it up all the way down to Atlanta. Lost a little bit after the Montreal race, but still real strong. I mean, this guy has been on fire. And we all know he's got a brand new ride for next year. He'll be driving for Roger Penske in that number 12 Cup car that David Strumme drove this year. So he's got a lot of good things for him on the horizon, that's for sure.
While Eric McClure is out on his qualifying effort, let's check in with Jamie Little.
And Scott Speed back in the 99, actually second nationwide start here. Scott, how much can running on this side help things on the Cup side? Because both seem to be pretty fast.
Well, for me, I mean, clearly the more racing I do in a competitive environment helps the most. I mean, the more laps I get passing and racing people, the better I'm developing in this sport. So there's no question, helps a lot.
Yeah, he's certainly been fast over on the Cup side too, but he said this car is always fun to drive and it's always fast, so we'll have to watch and see how he does in qualifying.
Well, it hasn't been much fun for Eric McClure. You can see on lap tracker, this car is sort of bottomed out at 23.3 on the first lap, 22.9 on the second. He is 6th out of 6 cars that have taken times, and for the Chilhowie, Virginia resident, not the kind of effort he probably wanted, and he will make his 100th start tonight.
Eric's just got to hope when the track cools off tonight that his car will get a lot better, because he was 45th fastest in practice, and right now he's the slowest guy out there, but definitely when the tracks cool off, things do get better.
66 on the track right now. Stephen Wallace as he gets ready, and lap tracker heading south into turn number 1.
Now he's got to hope that the second lap is just a lot better. A lot of these second laps are always faster. Almost every car that's qualified so far has picked up a lot in the second lap. And as a driver, you get down into turn 1, you see what you did wrong, and you just don't want to make that mistake again on your second lap.
Well, Stephen trying to rebound from last week's 23rd place finish at Atlanta. It dropped him from 5th to 6th in the championship points. And right now, lap number 1, not the kind of effort he was looking for. 22.4. Lap 2 looks a little better.
Yeah, he's picking up the second lap a little bit still. I mean, the car's a little bit off from what it was in practice. Had a real good car, is pretty happy with it. But then again, this track is really slick right now.
Well, he's never really qualified strong here at Richmond in 6 prior races. His best start was 20th, and that was twice. His best finish, though, back in May of '08, was 5th. So there you can see, slots himself in the number 5 spot right now, 22.17 seconds. And through the luck of the draw, Stephen's teammate Brendan Gaughan will be the next car out. There he is in the number 62. Sat on the pole back at Bristol in April. Started 11th back here at Richmond in May and ended up finishing 26th. And if you were with us during the practice show, Brendan admits he is more of a big track kind of guy. The 1.5 mile layouts are where he really feels like he can shine. And here he's just trying to learn.
Well, I tell you, he does run good in the short tracks. He doesn't give himself enough credit. He likes the 1.5 miles, and this place has always gave him a little trouble. But I think he'll have a better run than he really thinks. But take a look at the lap tracker. He flew down into turn 1, then it kind of fell off on him. Looks like that's an indication of driving the car a little too deep in the corner. They're letting it get too high. But take a look at this second lap. He's really picked it up a ton. Lap tracker's tracking him 3rd right now. If he can hold it off of turn 4, he's going to have a good run.
Now up to 2nd if he can hold on to it as he comes across the stripe. And yes, goes right into the 2nd spot, 21.91 seconds. He picked up a half a second on the 2nd lap. So a good qualifying effort for Brendan Gaughan. Back here at Richmond International Raceway, some cloud cover rolling back in. That will cool the track down. Let's talk to the man who's currently sitting on the pole. He's with Vince Welch.
Brad Keselowski told our Jamie Little that he needed a cloud when he went out there for his qualifying run. So a little weatherman, a little bit of race car driver. What did you get, and was it the best you could have gotten?
Well, I felt like I've got as much out of the car as we could. Driving the Cup car today really helped me a bunch. This has been one of my weaker tracks, Richmond, especially in qualifying. So felt like it did a good job and hit my marks pretty well with the Lipton Chevrolet. But the clouds are coming, and it's cooling off quick. So I don't know. I doubt that'll hold up, but I'm still really happy with the effort here from Junior Motorsports and with this car, this '88 Chevrolet. It's a solid effort.
You said the Cup car helped you a lot. How?
Well, it's just getting in a rhythm, and this is just one of those tracks I didn't have a lot of confidence at, so it just helps you build confidence and getting a little bit of rhythm.
Brad Keselowski in the 88 tonight.
And he practiced 20th in the Cup car a little bit earlier this afternoon. As you take a look at Joe Nemechek, Joe runs 22.28 seconds on his second lap. That'll slot him in the number 7 position right now out of the 9 cars that have taken time.
Tell you what, talk about good qualified. Joe always seems to qualify well. He's got 18 poles in this series, and that's just a remarkable job he's done. And it doesn't surprise me when he always qualifies well. He's always done it his whole life.
As he pulls in, next up on the track will be the 32 with David Ruderman behind the wheel. 3rd time this year that he's been behind the Brown racing machine. You can see, whoa, look at how erratic that lap tracker is.
And Marty, that's one of those deals where that second lap is really going to wake this car up. And like I said a little while ago, as a driver, you bomb that baby down to the turn 1 and the car goes crazy. And that second lap, those tires heat up and that thing handles better. And you end up looking a lot better. David with 8th in practice today, so right now he's tracking 3rd, 4th, 5th. Our lap tracker's back and forth. 4th quick on the first lap. It ends up at a 22.08.
And we're being told that we had a bit of a glitch in the GPS tracking system on the first lap. That's why you see the line such a roller coaster. This one looking pretty strong. It will keep him in the number 4 position, 21.9 seconds. And so he picked up about a 1/10 of a second as he was a little bit quicker than he was on the first lap. Let's talk a little college football. Tomorrow night, you've got USC, ranked number 3, going against number 8, Ohio State. It's 8 p.m. Eastern on ESPN. It's presented by Hampton Hotels. Big game. Set the TiVo, though, because obviously we're going to have Sprint Cup action for you over on ABC, or else you can sort of flip back and forth. Or the split screen. We got it covered for you no matter which way you want to go. Back here at the track, already out, Mike Wallace. And you can see he's on his first lap.
This particular car's had a little bit of a struggle this year running up front. But I talked to Mike, and he said they're going to run this car all year long. It's not going to be a start and park. Johnny Davis's team has tended to do that a little bit this year, but he said, no, we're in this thing for the whole year. We're going to race hard. We're looking for sponsorship to try to get the performance up better yet. But Mike likes this racetrack. He is a short track guy, kind of cut his teeth in the short tracks, and he's looking forward to this track.
Well, he's had 21 races here at Richmond. His best start was 4th back in March of '96, and that's exactly where he finished in that race. And as he comes across the second lap, a tick quicker, 22.5 seconds. That's good enough for the 10th position. Let's check in with Vince.
Brendan Gaughan told us earlier today that this isn't really his kind of thing. These short tracks, you could have fooled us with that qualifying run. Where did that come from?
It had nothing to do with me. Shane Huffman, Brian Berry, the guys. That's a great USL Chevy. I mean, first lap was really tight, just like it had been in practice. And I called Brian and said, first lap's junk, and eased off into 3 and just tried to use my head. And I didn't want to overdrive the corner. And great job. I mean, good engine, good horsepower. The guys got it to the ground, and I just made it work somehow. I listened to Rusty, apparently. I don't know. It's rubbing off, osmosis.
That's a good thing. 62, currently second quickest.
Sometimes slower is actually quicker.
I haven't figured that out yet.
Well, because it makes you smoother. At least that's what all the driving coaches tell you when you go to those. You're sticking to it, aren't you?
Well,
when you go to those schools, they'll tell you that. We take a look right now at Scott Speed, sat at the pole in Vegas, and his best finish this year has been 7th back at Dover. He's had one other race here as he's slotted in the number 8 spot here on lap number 1. He started 21st and finished 27th back in the May race.
Take a look at these first laps compared to the second laps. Take a look at our tracker, how much better these second laps are. So, tell you what, if you're a crew chief, you're on top of that truck and you're watching those first laps, you think you're in trouble, then all of a sudden your driver really picks it up. In fact, picking it up, he just picked it up to second position at a 21.90. Good lap out of Scott Speed.
And his owner, Michael Waltrip, has a win here in February of 1990, plus 5 poles on his own. So carrying on the team legacy. As we get ready to talk a little bit about Carl Edwards, take a look at his series comparison here in 2009 as he comes into view. You can see how many starts and 3 wins on the nationwide side, 0 on the Sprint Cup. And I guess everybody is looking at that position 5th, where he's still vulnerable for making the chase, and there's been two sides of the coin. Should he be driving Nationwide now, or should he be focusing on the Sprint Cup side? What was your take on it?
Well, obviously got to be focusing on the Sprint Cup side, but the sponsors he's got on this particular car, I mean, they signed up for him to run the full year. And if you talk to Carl, he loves driving this car. He does have the broken right foot, and we've talked about that extensively. But when I talked to Carl today, he told me, he said, Rusty, it's no big deal. I feel fine. Everybody's blown it out of proportion. I really feel comfortable in the car.
Yeah, he said, it's not distressing me in any way, shape, or form. And he wants to do it, and did it, he did. As he's 11th right now, 22.33 seconds. I don't know that they're going to be real thrilled with that effort. Let's check in with Jamie Little.
And Richmond and Clint Boyer just go together. He's won here in both Nationwide and the Cup side. Last year, you dominated this race, led 195 laps. How does this car and this setup compare, Clint?
Well, it's, I think we're 9th in practice. Holiday Inn Chevrolet is not bad. Feels good to be back in this series. It's a lot of fun to be in this series and be racing at Richmond. This is such a fun racetrack. To be able to have 2 cracks at, hopefully winning something this weekend means a lot. Just going to go out here, and hopefully we get a cloud. The sun, I got to hurry, though, so hopefully we get a cloud, get a decent lap, and have fun tonight.
We'll let him jump in his car. It's good to see him say he's having fun, because he's been under a lot of pressure over there on the Cup side.
One guy that's not been having a lot of fun is on the track right now. Mike Bliss, after he lost the #1 ride, has been struggling to just stay in the top 10. He's 9th in the points. He's got a pretty decent car under him this weekend. We've seen Scott Wimmer behind the wheel of this 40 machine. Currently 7th with that first lap time.
Ooh, that baby got sideways right there. You see that? He shuts it down right now. Almost turned it around right there.
Real loose up off 2.
Didn't mean to interrupt you there,
No,
Marty.
no,
When that baby
you did fine.
was turning around backwards, facing us in the booth, I figured I better say something.
Well, it reminds me of Robbie Gordon last week up in Crandon, Wisconsin. He actually finished the Pro 2 race backwards across the finish line.
Going back to Mike Bliss, the first race this year, he dominated. He used to drive the 1 car, the Mikusuki car, and obviously he's out of that ride right now. But boy, this guy flat knows how to get around Richmond. A RAS car before the track bar mount broke and put him out of the race.
He's had top 5 finishes at Richmond in all 3 National Touring Series, Trucks, Nationwide, and Sprint Cup. Bobby Hamilton Jr. on the track right now, as he was 11th quickest in practice. As you watch this run, let's check in with Vince Welch.
Scott Speed currently 2nd on the board, and you told me earlier going to be better than you were last time you were here. That was back in May, your first trip here to Richmond. So how much better was it?
Yeah, we certainly guessed a lot better on the setup here in qualifying. We typically get a lot tighter here in the afternoon than we do in the morning, but the car ran really good in race trim earlier today, and we were really good here in the race last time. So I look forward to a strong run for sure.
Scott Speed and his crew chief Jerry Baxter look for them to be competitive for sure tonight in the 99.
As you finish up, Vince, so does Bobby Hamilton. Hamilton clocks in a second lap of 22.25 seconds, and that will slot him in the number 10 spot right now out of the 15 cars that have taken times. So as he brings it on back towards pit lane, that'll bring us up to Justin Allgaier. And saw Justin last night at dinner, and we were talking about the fact, with Brad Keselowski coming on board with this team next year, how will that help him as he gets ready for his 2nd full season? And he was really pumped up about it. He said, Brad's driving style is different than mine, but because of that, I think I can learn more.
Well, he's a great little driver the way he is right now. We've talked about him all year long. He's been solid. He's 5th in the point standings right now. Look, he's had some ups and downs like a lot of young drivers have had, but I really think we're going to hear a lot more out of Justin Allgaier driving his Verizon car for a long time.
As he gets ready to wrap up lap number 1, if you remember back in the May race, he started 39th, finished 38th. He said, I about tore off every corner on this thing, and it actually went faster when it looked more like a modified. But he says, I don't want to do that again.
See, his second lap's just a little bit faster. In fact, he's a much better between turn 3 and 4 at the moment. Lap tracker shows him 7th. So the car is going to have definitely a better lap, the second lap, like everybody else has, up to 6th quick right now at 22.02.
Very good. As he pulls it on in, let's check in with a guy who thinks he's got one bad race car. How about it, Jamie Little?
They seem to think that. Martin Truex Jr. making his first start this year. First time in 4 years, though, at this track. What's it been like adjusting to a Nationwide car again?
It's been a little different than I remember, with the tapered spacer and everything.
makes a unique challenge. You know, you don't use a lot of brake here. Normally Richmond is a high braking track, but it seemed for me I was just rolling out of the gas early and not using another brake, and our car was really good. So the guys did a great job. I feel like we got a shot tonight. Hopefully we can get qualified somewhere near the front. We weren't really good in qualifying trim, so we made some air pressure adjustments here, and you know, based off cup practice, see if we can get up towards the front. I think we'll race real well. Looking forward to it.
All right, they didn't make many changes, Marty. They're looking for a good night.
Another guy that's looking for a good night, Kenny Wallace, his 800th National Series start. Lap number 1 is good enough for the 10th spot at 22.15.
Oh, yeah, he's really pumped up around this race. He's won here 3 times, 1994, 95, and 6 consecutive years. He loves this track, obviously, and 800 starts, what can you say? He's pumped up.
Coming through 4, whoop, gotten a little loose there, and lap tracker slides a little bit on him. And as he comes across the stripe, 22.13, so 2 100ths quicker. It'll keep him in that 10th position. And as we talked about the numbers, let's show you exactly where he stands. 9 wins, 3 of them came right here at Richmond. He's led over 3,220 laps in those 799 races. Let's go back to that first win that Rusty talked about. Here it was, 1994, as he came across to take the checkered flag first. And oh, boy, does Herm look a little younger there. Of course, didn't we all? Back here at Richmond International Raceway, Marty Reed topside along with Rusty Wallace and Vince Welch, Jamie Little down in pit lane, and that's Robert Richardson Jr. attempting to make his 12th Nationwide Series start of the year, and first lap's already in the books at 22.5 seconds. That's 17th out of 18 cars, and he's a little better this time. Right now tracking at about 14th.
Yeah, just about every single car we've seen so far, Marty's been better on that second lap, but boy, he had a good turn 2 and it's kind of fell off the planet coming down this back straightaway. And he is not going to be real happy with that lap. He clocks in 15th at a 22.32.
So he picked up 0.2 of a second on that second lap, but didn't give him enough that he really wanted. He's in the 15th spot out of 18 cars that have taken times so far. And Justin Allgaier's climbed out of the car. He's with Vince Welch now.
Justin started 39th back in May, so I'm guessing you're smiling. So you've got a better car here this time around. What's the big difference?
Well, the Verizon Wireless Dodge is definitely a lot better. We went to a couple of short track tests over the summer. Really felt like this was the one place we let ourselves down and we didn't get the run we thought we should. So we really worked hard on coming back here and running well. I don't know where we're going to end up in the whole grand scheme of things, but definitely a lot better than the spring. And I think the old Verizon Wireless Dodge has got something on long runs for everybody else too. So I think we should have a good night.
Justin Allgaier smiling. That's always a good sign.
And one guy who wants to be smiling at the end of this run will be Clint Boyer, a defending series champion. He's a former winner here at Richmond back in the May event of 07.
First lap, 21.91, a good run for Boyer. Now this is a track, when drivers show up, they always got their favorite track. This is one of Boyer's favorite tracks. He's won here before. He loves this track, and I expect this lap to be quicker. In fact, it looks like he's on a pole run to us.
Boy, he is hugging that bottom very well. Comes across the line, and yes, you're dead spot on, Rusty. 21.81 seconds by 2 100ths of a second. He knocks Brad Keselowski down to the number 2 position.
I think that's a pole.
We can tell you it is right now, at least for a while. So a great run. He was 28th in Sprint Cup practice earlier today, so here he is right now, number 1 out of 19 cars.
Now, Boyer's won here before. He won in the Cup car, and we've talked a lot in our broadcast about him maybe really getting his mojo back at this particular racetrack. Unfortunately, it looks like he's not going to make the chase. It's not locked in yet, but it doesn't look good. But, you know, this is a guy that could win this race. He's just that good here all the time.
20-year-old Coleman Presley, the son of Robert from Asheville, North Carolina, trying to make his 3rd career Nationwide Series start. And you can see lap tracker pretty fast into turn 1, but as he comes across, he's 13th right now, 22.19 seconds, and a lot of cloud cover out there right now, Rusty, so track temperature down.
Yeah, I'm definitely watching the cloud cover get all over turn 1 and 2 right now. The track's shaded, and when you get a little bit of cloud cover at this racetrack, Marty, the speeds generally pick up big time. I'm not talking just a little bit of speed. I mean, you'll see a 2 and a 3/10 second change when the track just gets a little temperature out of it.
Wow. Talk about how it steps up. 21.91 seconds. He moves into the number 5 spot. So the young 20-year-old who has multiple late model wins back in North Carolina and South Carolina is looking pretty doggone good right now. Let's check in with Jamie Little.
And Greg Biffle pulling double duty. A lot on his plate this weekend, 11th on the Cup side of things. Greg, when you're in the nationwide race, does it help you, hinder you? How does it affect you?
Well, I mean, it might help you a little bit, just kind of get your rhythm around Richmond. It certainly helped me this morning getting a few laps in the nationwide car before I got in the Sprint Cup car. But, you know, just still nervous about tomorrow night. You know, just hope we have a good race, you know, good clean race. I know we can run on the top 15 here, top 10, and that's going to be good enough to get us in, but it's been a lot of pressure last 3 or 4 weeks.
All right, he's 1 year in a truck, never in nationwide, and Trevor Bayne is in the 11.
Well, he was almost in the wall on that first lap as Trevor came across at 22.4 seconds.
Yeah, you just need to forget these first laps, Marty. These guys are slipping and sliding all over the place, and also they're building momentum at this short racetrack. Like I said, that second lap was always the money lap, and if you don't get it on that second lap, you just flat got a bad car, because the second lap is the one that everybody loves here at the Richmond.
Well, he's had top 12 starts in 10 of his 11 nationwide career races, and it looks like he may have another one. 21.9 seconds on the second lap. He picked up a half a second. He moves into the number 4 position.
You know what's amazing is how much you can screw up in the first lap and how much you can pick up on the second lap. We see it time and time again here at Richmond in qualifying. The driver just thinks it's all over, and then all of a sudden he pulls it out.
So as he pulls it on in, we'll check in with Vince Welch.
Clint Boyer just pointed to the sky and said that big cloud right there above us helped us out. How much of a difference does it make, cloud versus sun, on this racetrack?
It makes a big, when it's that big, that's pretty black cloud. You know, it just cools off so much. But, you know, it was a good run for our Holiday Inn Chevrolet. Real proud of Doug and all the guys. And, you know, we just got to have a good run here. And starting up front goes a long ways. A lot of fun in Nationwide Series. I'm glad to be back in here. Having some fun. You know, hopefully we'll stay up in the top 5 somewhere, hopefully. And you know, learn a lot for the Cup race tomorrow, and hopefully win them both.
Clint Boyer so far on the pole here in the nationwide race.
And on the track right now is Jason Keller. Not a real threat to take the pole. You can see his first lap 15th at 22.2. But you never know with the cloud cover. Maybe lap 2 will step up. It does, but only good enough for the 9th position. Jason will be happy with that, though. That's a good run for that team right now. 21.97 seconds.
I will tell you, I expect the racetrack right now to keep getting quicker and quicker. It's definitely shaded, and it has definitely cooled down quite a bit. And so I think we're going to see some fast times here. This temperature's getting down, the drivers are getting pumped up, and the guys that qualified early, they don't like it.
Looking right now at Justin Marks as he is out on the track in the number 10.
Justin was 39th fastest in practice. Didn't look good at all, but he's in a good car. This Braun Racing car, the number 10 car out of those stables, had some good runs all year long with different drivers in this car. And he's got a lot of good teammates to talk to about how to fix it if it was off. And that's one thing I like about this organization.
Well, he's about 3/10 slower, just about what everybody was from their best times in practice. You can see that 22.6 currently puts him 22nd out of 23. He's got to pick it up here. And as he comes across the stripe, it's a little bit of improvement. By 1/100th, it gets him into the 21st position. So he only moves up 1 spot because of that.
Yeah, 22.53. Yeah, I tell you, when I think of Justin, I think about road racing. He did really good in Montreal. And Jamie, what's going on down there right now?
Well, Denny Hamlin, the 20 car, he's getting ready to roll out and qualify. You guys were thrashing around in practice, even though you were second on the board. Denny, what do you expect from qualifying?
It's tough to say. We didn't make a mock run, so it's going to be tough to see where we end up. You know, we started the practice pretty good, but it seemed like every run that we made, the tires just gave up more and more, and it seemed like no matter whether the adjustments were good or bad, the car just kept getting slower and slower. So hopefully when we put new tires back on it now, it should be hopefully pretty good. But, you know, we need to start somewhere in the top 5 to give ourselves a good pit stop for tonight.
All right, that's Denny Hamlin in the 1 car, guys. We talked to Martin Truex Jr. He is on the track.
And Martin, first lap at 21.99 seconds. That would be good enough for the 10th position. He's had 5 previous races at Richmond, as you saw, with his best finish 3rd. What about this lap number 2? Can he pick it up enough.
I'll tell you what, he was third fastest in practice in this first lap at 21.99. That's close enough to grab the pole. Oh, third quick, right where he ended up in the final practice. But one thing I want to talk about this car. This particular car with Mike Bliss driving at the first race here dominated this event until he broke a suspension part. We know Martin Truex can get the job done in these cars. He's done it before. This is one car I'm going to keep my eye on throughout the night. I think he's going to have a strong run.
Well, Truex won the 04 and 05 Nationwide Series championships, so we know what kind of talent he has behind the wheel. Also know what kind of talent this guy's got behind the wheel, coming off the big win last week where this car was just dominant. 33 of Kevin Harvick.
There's a lot of people like to be in that car right now. I mean, he has put so much of his personal effort the family has into this particular car. He's out to prove a point. He's been out running Kyle Busch. He's been the cream of the crop of late in this Nationwide car. And man, last week at Atlanta, Georgia, he just flat spanked him. Drove off in the sunset and won that race.
4 Nationwide Series Richmond wins, ties him with Harry Gant for second to guess who? Mark Martin, who has 5. Take a look at the first lap, 22.49 seconds. Puts him 22nd right now. I'm sure he's not happy with that. Now the question is, can he pick it up enough? It's going to be not close enough. 11th, 22.02. So I'm not thinking that he's going to be real happy with that.
Yeah, I didn't expect that out of Kevin Harvick. I thought that'd be a lot better. But Vince, Trevor Bayne, he had a good run down there.
That's exactly right. 18 years old, and this deal just came together a couple of days ago. And I know you guys were working really on the long run in practice today. So you feel like you got what you should have out of the qualifying effort?
Yeah, man. We had a good car in both trims, actually, qualifying trim and race trim. But I'm really confident in what it's going to do for the race. But I think I could have got a little bit more out of it in qualifying. But I went into the corner and got into some of that rubber that the Cup cars had laid down up top. A lot of stuff up there, and it really got loose on me the first lap. And I thought it was going to end up almost in the wall. So it was a good recovery there to come back. And I think we're sitting 5th right now. So I'm really happy with this Ridemaker's Toyota right now. I think it's going to be stout in the race too.
Solid indeed. Trevor Bayne, Marty.
And you saw the video just how close he did come to the wall. As out on the track right now, it's Greg Biffle, a guy who has run here 14 times, has finished second twice, 3rd, 4th, and 5th, but has yet to win in the Nationwide Series. He won here in the Truck Series back in 1999.
Oh, second lap picks him up a lot, but 21.91. I tell you, these are laps these guys are putting down the first lap, and you think they're just out to lunch, it's all over, they don't have a good car. Then the second lap, they come back, they pick up a ton, and Biffle, I mean, he was already down like 22nd, and then he pops this baby all the way up.
Well, and he's
he's
the first Ford to crack the top 10, and we saw that trend also back in the practice where Fords were not quite as stout as the Toyotas and the Chevys. So Kyle Busch comes out, and you can see his last 10 Nationwide short tracks as he has 4 top 5s. 2 of those are wins. His average finish there and leading over 500 laps. In fact, he can become the second man in the history of the Nationwide Series to lead over 2,000 laps in a season. Sam Ard is the only man that's done it so far. What'd he do on the first lap? 4th position, 21.87 seconds.
Okay, that was the fastest first lap of anybody in the field so far by almost a 1/10 of a second. So he is definitely on a pole run right now. I mean, if it pans out the way it's been going, this guy's going to grab this pole position by almost 3/10 of a second. He's looking awful strong right now.
And he does it. 21.74 seconds by almost a full 1/10 of a second.
Good work, bud.
He takes over the number 1 spot.
Right there. Good job. I'll talk to you about it when you get in here.
This track is cooling down. These cars are getting faster.
Good job. Thanks.
And when you get that track position like Kyle Busch's got right now, the guys behind him, man, they're nervous because they do not want to get lapped because he's going to be coming around his track in a hurry when this race gets started.
Well, he's had 2 poles so far this year. Maybe this is number 3 and would be his 18th overall. Let's check in now with J.B. Little.
Well, there's been a lot of talk about this organization with Paul Menard, and that's Yates Racing, of course, merging with Petty Enterprises. And Paul, your name's been on that list a lot. How does that news this week about the merger affect you and your racing plans?
As far as I know, it doesn't affect us at all. But if it all happens, it's pretty exciting. Add some more Fords in the mix, so it works out to be a cool deal.
All right, we'll see if he can get his car up to speed, he was about 13th overall in the speed charts in practice, Marty.
And he is still to come. On the track right now is Michael Annette. Michael raced for his first time here at Richmond back in May. He qualified 35th and finished 34th. It was a bit of a tough experience for him. Right now, his first lap has got him qualified 23rd, and his second lap actually at 22.32. So that'll put him 23rd on the grid as of right now. And we've had a total of 28 cars take time. So 2 more before we get into the go or go home situation.
Yeah, and that's a nerve-wracking time, too, because these guys don't want to miss the race. There's going to be about 5 cars miss this race. Got 47 entries for the race here tonight in Richmond. It's nail-biting time. Starting about 4 cars when the go or go homers get out there.
Tony Raines, who has a best Richmond start, a 9th back in 07, and he finished second here once all the way back in 2001. Would like to certainly do well here.
Hey, this run he's got going on right now, he's tracking 28th quickest. He was 32nd fastest in practice. I do feel like he can pick that second lap up quite a bit like everybody else has, but still not going to be what Tony Raines is hoping for. It doesn't look to be. 24th, right. We're tracking right now. About 3 to 4 tenths of a second off the pole position. Marty, I can just flat look out the window here in our booth at Richmond, Virginia, and tell if these guys slide up off the bottom of that racetrack a little too much, you know it's going to kill their lap. At this track, you got to be right on the bottom, right on the yellow line through 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 if you got a chance at the pole here.
Well, Tony ends up 25th right now with that 22.3 second effort. We'll see where he shakes out. 29 cars now, 1 more to go before we get into the go or go home situation. And coming up now is Denny Hamlin, and this is a definite potential pole sitter.
Absolutely. Talk about a home track. Richmond, Virginia is definitely Denny's home track. We watched a win here a year or so ago, and he was in tears. He was so excited about this particular track. It's unreal, and I think everybody expects Denny to have a good run here today.
The one thing that's different, though, remember that big cloud that was there for Clint Boyer? It's not there for Denny. There's sun on this track all the way around.
And that's big. It really will be. We talked about it. Take a look at our tracker. I mean, he's over half a second off right now, but we've seen it all day long. This second lap just beat everything in the world. His first lap, 22.32, puts him 25th quickest.
Right now he's tracking in between 5th and 6th, now up to 4th. Now up to 2nd as he heads into 3. Can he do it? He's got to have a clean turn 4.
Oh, he's got a big run.
Could be. Hang on. Yes, Hamlin. What a pickup in lap number 2.
Holy cow, dude. You were absolutely horrendous the first lap and put on the pole the second lap. 21.70. Talked to you about it at the car.
Look at that, 0.6 of a second faster from first to second. Just unbelievable.
And remember, these guys got a little side action going on as far as some charity. We'll talk about that when we get a chance. Stay with us. Back here at Richmond International Raceway, it's now time for us to get into the toughest part of the qualifying process. This is the go or go home group. Derek Cope, who was 12th fastest among this group in the final practice, out on track right now. His first lap at 23.41 seconds. That puts him 31st out of 31 cars.
Yeah, that doesn't make you feel good at all. I mean, he had a big condition off of turn 2 where the car got loose on the very first lap, big time. Is a 23.41 the first lap. This second lap ought to be a little bit better, and it is a 22.43, but that's still 28th quickest, and in my mind, that's not a very safe area.
And as he brings it on out, we'll check in with Vince Welch.
Well, we know the Joe Gibbs team's going to be strong. Currently 1-2 on the board. Kyle Busch second quickest. What kind of indication do you have as to what kind of race car you're going to have from practice and qualifying today?
Well, I told Denny he was going to put it on the pole, so you know, we'll take second. It seems to be my forte anyway, but I'm going to write a book one day. It's called Second Best. That's all I got. But Z-Line Camry was good. You know, real proud of the guys. We worked hard today trying to find something that might make the car better, but you know, whenever you've got Denny Hamlin here at Richmond, it's hard to beat.
He may be starting second, but I wouldn't bet against him finishing first, Kyle Busch.
And as you finish up, Greenwood, Indiana, Shelby Howard out on track right now, a second of the go or go home group. And as he comes across his first lap time at 22.66 seconds.
Shelby had a good run this year. 12th quickest at Nashville, Tennessee. Finished 12th. I'm sorry. I'll correct myself. Good little short track race. He's another guy that likes these shorter tracks, always feels real comfortable on them.
Well, he started 13th back in the spring race at Richmond, but wasn't able to seal the deal there. Now in the second lap, he jumps up to 16th. He really picks it up by a half a second, 22.10 seconds. So a good second lap for Shelby. And as he brings it into pit road, let's talk about what's going to happen tonight on ESPN2. Of course, we'll have the NASCAR Nationwide Series event at 7 Eastern. And coming up next, it's qualifying right here on ESPN2 for the Sprint Cup Series. And then, of course, the Chevy Rock and Roll 400 will be at Richmond tomorrow at 7 Eastern on ABC. And then NASCAR Now at 11:30 p.m. Eastern Time on ESPN2 following the race. Travis Quapple now out on the track in the familiar 09 Zaxby's machine that John West Townley has been running a great deal this season.
First lap, 22:33. That's another one. I just can't pay much attention to these first laps right now because we've seen cars pick up a half a second. We've seen them pick up 0.6 of a second like Denny Hamlin did. He went from, I call a hobo to a hero in one lap. There was no doubt about that.
Well,
big pickup in these second laps.
Keep an eye on the lap tracker. Quapple goes 22.30 seconds, puts him 25th and second of the 3 go homers so far that have run. So we've still got a lot more coming here at Richmond. Well, that's the car of current pole sitter Denny Hamlin here at Richmond International Raceway, his home track. He's won here once before in the Nationwide Series. And he took it by 4/100ths of a second over his Joe Gibbs Racing teammate Kyle Busch. And on the track is Johnny Chapman. This car set up specifically to qualify and get into the field. Johnny on the first lap, 22.27 seconds. And that puts him second quickest of the go-homer so far.
Marty, take a look how he's tracking right now. He's tracking 12th, 13th fastest at the moment. And these cars, the go-homers, they have no choice except to try to get these cars go as fast as they can for 2 laps. And the setups they put inside them a lot of times will create a fast lap as Johnny clocks in 16th, but they just won't race good. They got to get him in the race to make the money.
Yeah, he's now the fastest of the 4 go-homers. And Denny Hamlin, I think, Vince, you've caught up with him. There he is.
Well, Denny, Kyle Busch said that he was confident you were going to be on the pole. Were you as confident as he was that you were going to have the top speed?
No, not really. And told them I was in 3rd gear the first lap. I didn't realize so off turn 4 I needed to shift. I'm not used to this, these things running, no RPMs, and you can't hardly, hear the engine. So I assumed I was in 4th gear. So I shifted and we ran pretty fast.
I know you guys made a lot of changes after practice. Do you feel like you've got a good race car, maybe the car to beat here tonight from what you felt in that qualifying run?
Well, I mean, that was a good run for us for sure, but I definitely didn't think we had a great car, but everyone tells me we had a good car, so I didn't look at the lap tracker. It's hard to tell. But the tires with cycles just gets worse and worse, and of course my feel is that it was terrible, but you got to think about it relative to the competition, and evidently we're pretty good.
So far, so good for Denny Hamlin. Marty?
Hang on, because, oh, man, Paul Menard was so close until the exit of turn 4 to almost taking the pole away from him. He comes in 3rd and locks himself in 21.79 seconds. Wow.
Oh, yeah, I didn't see this one coming. Like, this car always runs well, but, man, that was a heck of a lap. But remember one thing, the track is cooling down. This is the time of the day that I really want to get out and qualify my car because it's much better conditions right now.
Well, this, if it stays the same, would tie his best start this year at Texas and Phoenix, where he started 3rd. And he's still looking to improve on this year's best finish, which was 5th back at Texas. Scott Wimmer on track right now in the number 5. And again, he is in the go or go home group. He was faster actually in that final practice than Paul Menard. So I wonder if we're going to see something here that we didn't expect.
Well, we might see something. This particular car comes out of Junior Motorsports. Dale Earnhardt Jr., a great car. It's been running good all year long. Seems like no matter who gets in this car, they always have a good run. And Scott Wimmer, we all know, is a great short track racer. In fact, a good racer in general. And he's running this car a handful of times this year for Junior Motorsports. Right now, the first lap, 22.26. He jumps up on the second lap to 22.00, clocks in 15th fastest.
So as that puts him into the 15th spot, that also locks him into tonight's race. And Jamie, I think you've caught up with a very special car that we talked about earlier today.
Yes, it's the 9/11 Memorial. Of course, today being 9/11, everybody is thinking about it on their hearts, on their minds. And Benny, this team was touched by the terrorist attacks. Tell us the tie-in and why you guys are remembering it on your car.
Well, first of all, we want to remember the 9/11, the Memorial Museum that's being built in New York City right now, and it's a memorial for all the people that lost their lives and all the people that worked so hard and took their own lives at risk to help others. A very special day to those people, and the unveiling showed that when they all come out and told their stories. Got to meet a lot of people, and also Flight 93 come down near Jennerstown, PR, hometown racetrack. And it really hit close to home right there. So we wanted to do something special, wanted to make awareness to the 9/11 Memorial, and what better place than the most patriotic fans in the world, and that's at NASCAR. And we appreciate all their help.
Very nice tribute. Let's talk about making the field real quick. I know you got to get in your car. Chances, you were pretty good in practice.
We were decent in practice. Would have liked to be a little bit better, but we'll see what we have right now. We have high hopes for qualifying here.
All right, Benny Gordon looking to make his 6th start in the Nationwide Series.
Well, and one guy who's definitely in is Kevin LePage. As he finishes up, he is the 3rd quickest of the go or go homers, and he slots right ahead of Mr. Chapman. So Johnny still one of the 4 that could be bumped, although we think those times are going to hold up as we have some of the slower cars still to come in this group.
And Kevin locked in the field right there. That's just such a good feel when we sit up and see these guys get locked in, because like I said, this is a nail-biting time. These guys have got to qualify. They're not guaranteed by points like the top 30 are. Anybody out of the top 30's got to get themselves qualified in, and that's the tough part right now for these cats.
Now Casey on the lap tracker is being compared to Johnny Chapman. Johnny right now slotted 19th overall, but the time to beat is 22.055.
Casey's on track for a pretty decent run right now. These second laps are much better. Take a look at the distance he picks up off of turn 2. Kind of loses it on the entry of turn 3. And everything he gained, he lost right there getting into turn 3.
And as he comes across, he is now the slowest of those in the go or go home group. So this is treacherous territory for the 05 in Casey Atwood. 22.49. That's, you talked about nail biting. He's not going to have any nails left by the time this is over. And just as we come back, Chris Lawson does a complete 360 and trying to see how much damage was done. This was right in front of us here on the front straightaway. Chris looking to make his first Nationwide Series start here at Richmond. He did take the green, so I'm afraid that this lap is toast.
Well, it is toast. There's no doubt about that. But if he gets this thing back up to speed, and he hasn't flat spotted the tires too much, he's got another lap to try to get in his field. Now, he would have had the opportunity to slow up and actually back up around the racetrack, Marty, a little bit and try to get a run at it again, which he didn't do that, and that might have hurt him right there. But he's got this lap to get this thing done.
Well, you can see what happened on lap number 1. Here he comes through turns 3 and 4. Oh, getting it sideways a little, and he gets it across the line. 23.095. That is not going to be enough. Now, he has not officially been eliminated yet, but it's not looking good for Chris. He's the slowest of the go or go homers. Take another look.
Let's take a look at this replay. It's right on the bottom of the racetrack, and the back end kicks out right there. And right at that point, he gets up in those marbles, keeps on spinning, doesn't hit anything, and does a good job driving this car on the brakes, locking it up. As you see, the problem is when you're on the brakes that long, you flat spot the front tires, and you'll lose all the front grip. Let's take a look at it again. It's right on around. There's only one positive thing about that, Marty. Generally, when that happens, they generally wreck the car really bad. And the guy did a good job keeping his car off the wall.
Smoke him if you got him, and he did. But it may be a long trip home for Chris Lawson, because right now he is dead last in the group of go-or-go-homers. Mark Green on the track right now, and that is compared to Travis Quapple's time. And Mark already has assured himself of being in this race, 22.24 seconds. So is Shelby Howard, Johnny Chapman, Kevin LePage, Scott Wimmer, and Paul Menard. The four that are outside looking in right now are Travis Quapple, Derek Cope, Casey Atwood, and Chris Lawson. And boy, Mark really steps it up. He goes up to 7th with 21.87 seconds.
Great run for him. I mean, this is another one of the go-or-go homers we talked about. Probably has a special qualifying setup in this car to get a good fast lap. And I tell you, Mark did a great job. Got a lot of stuff out of that car. 7th fastest. And I tell you what, 21.87 this time of day. Pretty doggone good run. And he took advantage of the cool track temperatures to get that done.
And as we get ready, this will be an emotional run for not only this team, but I think just about anybody who has any kind of heart beating inside your chest. They put this deal together. Well, they started on it months ago, and it's just been a wonderful story as it has progressed and as all the details have come out. And as we pointed out, Benny was looking pretty good in practice, and right now on the lap tracker he's looking very good as he brings it across and is in the green. He's in the show at 22.20 seconds, 27th overall, and well ahead of Travis Quapple.
Marty, that's a great sign to see this car make the field, see himself get locked in the first lap. And I'll tell you what, he's got a lot of practice. I mean, this guy was a 2005 and 2008 Pro Cup champ. This guy knows how to short track race, a very good short track racer.
22.26, and it'll stay 27th, but what's most important is the 72 will be in the show. Vince?
Well, Scott Wimmer had to qualify on speed, and he did that, currently 15th. How do you balance needing enough speed to get in the show, but at the same time not wanting to overdrive it to get that speed and costing yourself?
Yeah, that's a tough part. You know, unfortunately, Brian Camden, all those guys do a great job of getting this thing, but I thought we qualified a little bit better than that. Normally in the Cup cars, we can slide nose weight and all that stuff, make them feel a little more comfortable, but excited about tonight. Got 2 more races in this car, so hopefully I can get them a win.
Keep an eye on Scott Wimmer in the Fastenal Chevy tonight.
What we're keeping an eye on right now, Vince, is the 96 of Dennis Setzer. He too in this group of go-or-go homers. His time compared to Travis Quapple. And Setzer is not fast enough right now. 22.59 seconds. He's got to pick it up. He's got to beat 22.309.
Dennis Setzer, another short track ace. We hear about him in the Carolinas a lot, up in Virginia. Always seems like he's winning up at places like Martinsville, Hickory Motor Speedway, places like that. A real ace on these short tracks.
Well, second lap, 22.36 seconds. He is not locked in, but he has given Travis Quapple the punched ticket to tonight's race. So right now, the guys that are still waiting and biting their fingernails, Setzer, Cope, Atwood, and Lawson. And we've had 42 cars take official times.
Tell you what, I believe that was a good enough lap out of Dennis Setzer. He's going to be the next one to lock in. I really think this guy will make the race. Taking a look at what's coming up behind him. Like I said, Dennis, a good little short track racer, that's for sure.
And as you see the crew talking to Benny, and boy, a lot of pressure off of his shoulders. Out on the track is Morgan Shepherd, 67 years old. We mentioned this earlier in case you weren't with us. 15 drivers here were born after Morgan finished second in the first Nationwide Series race ever run at this track back in February of 1982.
Morgan's is another guy that's got a lot of short track experience, although he's had some rough luck of late. He's missed the last 2 or 3 races in a row. It's been financially devastating on this team. He's talked about it. I think everybody would like to see him make this field right now, but it's not looking good at the moment. He's first lap at 22.78.
And
not a good run.
Yeah, the tracker's going the wrong direction, 22.59. Dennis Setzer has just gotten locked in. And Morgan is in that group that could potentially be going home again. And you're right, he needs to make the field to just keep afloat. Jamie, you've caught up with Benny?
Well, great story, the 9/11 Memorial Tribute. You guys made it in the field. What does it mean to you and all your crew here to make it tonight?
Well, we definitely wanted to make it in. That was the first goal. We definitely didn't want to have the 9/11 car not in the field for tonight, but and a little disappointed. We felt like we had a lot faster car. Had made a bunch of changes before qualifying, but we are in, and I feel like we have a good car to maybe race up towards up into the top 15, maybe even in the top 10 tonight if everything goes well. So excited about that. Excited to have the 9/11 Memorial Museum on the car for tonight, and excited to have all the people from New York City that are here. That first time they've experienced NASCAR, and they just can't believe it, and what NASCAR's brought to them, and how they've taken care of them here. So we're really excited for that also. So.
You got it all out there on your first lap. What was that like?
Well, the first lap, we'd put new pads, brake pads on, and the brakes went down. I wasn't ready for that, and kind of held back a little bit. We didn't pick up like everybody else did the second lap. That's what we're disappointed about. But we know after that first lap, we have a good enough car that can race pretty good tonight.
Well, Benny, I think it's safe to say a lot of people are going to be watching the 72 9/11 Memorial Tribute car in the race tonight for his 6th time ever in the Nationwide Series.
Yes, they certainly will, Jamie. Thanks for the update. As you were finishing up, J.C. Stout finished up and put himself in the show at 22.13 seconds. Good for the 26th overall position. It means Chris Lawson is definitely on the trailer and going to be packing it up in the hauler and heading home. And still, with a few more cars to go, the guys that are sweating bullets: Derek Cope, Casey Atwood, Morgan Shepherd. 91 on the track right now. There's 30-year-old Justin Hobgood.
Well, just 3 more cars to go right now. A lot of pressure on this young man right now to get this thing in the field. He looks pretty good at the moment right now.
Boy, he did. A nice 22.22 seconds, and that guarantees him a spot. And the bad news is Morgan Shepherd has been eliminated, and he'll be heading home. So now you're comparing to the pole sitter of Denny Hamlin, and take a look. Oh, Hobgood is really hustling this 91. Seeing where he can move up to. How about to the 11th position? 21.91 seconds. So while he coasts on out, let's talk a little college football, because ESPN tomorrow night, it's going to be a big one in the Horseshoe. It's USC visiting at Ohio State. 2 top 10 teams. College football primetime presented by Hampton Hotels. 8 p.m. Eastern on ESPN. As we talked about, we're going to be TiVoing that one because we'll be racing here at Richmond over on ABC. So get the best of both worlds. Right now, the best of both worlds for Travis Kittleson would be to put this baby in the show on the first lap.
Yeah, another short track ace. I've been talking short track aces a lot in this broadcast, and right now it looks like he is going to be in the show if he holds up this momentum off at turn 1. Let's take a look at this first. Yeah, he locks himself in the field at a 22.26. In fact, this is Travis's first start here at the NASCAR Nationwide Series in Richmond, Virginia this weekend. Real nervous coming into the event, hoping that he could figure the track out quick enough. Well, I can tell you right now, he's figured it out enough that he's in the race and he can spend the whole night figuring the rest of it out.
Travis locked himself in on the first lap. Second lap, a little bit slower, 22.31 seconds. What it means right now is that Quapple is locked in, Setzer is locked in. The 3 that are going home for sure: Casey Atwood, Morgan Shepherd, Chris Lawson, and Derek Cope is the last one who is sweating bullets.
Marty, I tell you the thing I hate about what I just saw there, Morgan Shepherd, like we just talked. I mean, this is he's been missing these races a lot of late, and this financially is killing this race team. I think everybody at this track was pulling for Morgan to make this thing.
Well, and quite honestly, this is why people are upset with the start and park guys, because here's a guy who's trying to do it for the whole season, trying to qualify, try and run the whole race, instead of going out, putting on that trick setup for qualifying, and then pulling off 4 or 5 laps in. And their heart's bleeding for this guy because he is bleeding racing.
He's been doing a lot of NASCAR racing his whole entire life. I feel bad for him. Let's hope he can get his act together, start getting back in the field.
Take a look at Josh Wise. He has already locked himself in with that first lap, 22.13 seconds in this 07 car. That's good for 26th. Here he comes on the second lap and looking pretty consistent. And what it means also that now Derek Cope is the 4th and final guy that's not going to make this race. comes across a little bit slower, 22.2 seconds. So our field is now set. So for Denny Hamlin, he scores his 13th Nationwide Series pole and his 116th start. And there he is, and we'll be back to wrap things up.
NASCAR Nationwide Series qualifying is brought to you by Craftsman, the official tools of NASCAR.
So qualifying is over, and it is an all Joe Gibbs front row with Denny Hamlin and Kyle Busch. As there you see their numbers atop the scoring pylon here at Richmond International Raceway. And let's talk to our pole sitter, Vince.
Denny Hamlin not only on the pole, but maybe a little extra special today because this is his home track from nearby Chesterfield, Virginia. And what's it mean to be on the pole here at this racetrack here in Richmond?
It's definitely a great accomplishment for this whole Z-Line Designs team. Actually, I've qualified on the pole here in the Nationwide Series before, and I think I was in the fence about 30 laps in. So, hopefully we have a different outcome this time, but we got a good competition today between Jim Sexton and his wife, Monica. I think Kyle's is Racing for Kids. Ours is the Operation Helmet program, and whatever car finishes ahead of each other, either the 18 or 20, it's either going to go, the $40,000 is going to go either to Jim's charity or Monica's charity. So hopefully we're going to win for Monica.
Everybody's going to win in that regard. How about the competition between you and your teammate Kyle Busch there starting up front?
Well, I mean, I think everyone knows Kyle's the precedence in this this series, so I just basically hope to keep up with him for 250 laps.
I think we're going to see quite a showdown between Kyle Busch and this man, Denny Hamlin, tonight. Marty.
All right, thanks, Vince. And we're going to go through the entire field, and probably the biggest standout that you're going to see is the guy who is going to end up in 39th position. Won't give it away, but take a look at the rest of the guys here in the top 10.
Take a look at the front row. Kyle Busch and Denny Hamlin. Good run by both those Joe Gibbs guys. No surprise right there. But look at Trevor Bayne. Good run out of him in the 11 car, 9th position.
And as we move back a little bit further, that is a career best qualifying effort for Justin Hobgood, but we expect that to be a start-in park car tonight. And look at Kevin Harvick.
Not a good run out of Kevin Harvick. I really expected Kevin to qualify much better than that. He's in 18th position right now, but hey, stand out. This guy's going to fly through the front of the field. Watch, we'll see what happens there.
Well, it's an all-Wallace clan back in row 14 and then 15 with Kenny and Steven. There is Benny Gordon with the tribute car for 911 in the outside of row number 15. And you're saying, wait a minute, where's Carl Edwards? Take a look. 39th. That's the biggest stunner.
Yeah, that's a crazy thing, too, because he had a good car in practice. I talked to Carl. He said he feels good. The right foot's not bothering him a bit, but he just did not get a good qualifying run.
So there's the final group that makes the field. As we mentioned, Derek Cope, Casey Atwood, Morgan Shepherd, Chris Lawson on the haulers heading home. All right, let's talk about what's going to be coming up. NASCAR Nationwide Series. The race is tonight, 7 Eastern, right here on ESPN2. And coming up next, it'll be Sprint Cup qualifying, and then the Chevy Rock and Roll 400 from Richmond tomorrow night, 7 Eastern, over on ABC. And then it's NASCAR Now at 11:30 Eastern p.m. ESPN2 following the race. So as we get ready, what do you expect to see in this race tonight as this track cools down?
I really expect to see a lot of guys that qualified bad run a lot better tonight. When the track cools off, the cars definitely get hooked up better. They get better grip. They handle better. But because of that, the drivers are going to have to make a lot of changes. The crew chiefs will be talking back and forth with their driver. What do you need? And you got to remember one thing. You practice this morning and you're racing tonight, and that car will change.
You want to pick a winner?
I'm not going to pick a winner. I've learned one thing a long time ago. I'm going to wait till like 10 laps to go before I pick my winner.
Well, I'll tell you what. If you guess Joe Gibbs Racing, you got a good chance because they're 1 and 2 as we head to tonight's race. Well, the action, it's been nonstop all day, and it's going to turn over right now to Dr. Jerry Punch. Doc, take it away, man.